Never be screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fears compete. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fears compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous things pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game's flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah! Never be screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fears compete. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fears compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous things pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game's flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah!
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as the Revco 195 here from Atlanta Motor Speedway, about to get underway. Drivers getting ready to duke it out here again this evening in the Metalheads Truck Series. As the Metalheads getting ready to go to battle here tonight, 130 laps of racing action. Now, this is the Old Atlanta Motor Speedway, where it's got a lot more coarse concrete on there. It is definitely a lot tougher and a lot harder to drive than what it is nowadays. Obviously, with that repave, it runs more like a super speedway, but here on the old pavement, it is a true 1.5 mile speedway. It is a lot of tire wear. It's a lot of slipping and sliding. It's very, very bumpy. You gotta control your ride in every single corner out there on the racetrack. So it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch these drivers try to compete and battle here on this old racing surface. Now, as we get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing, we did notice that they've changed the name here on iRacing. You may not be able to see it because of the logos, but when we load it up here, they call this the Echo Park Speedway now. I'm not sure if that was just an error or what that may have been, but I was quite surprised by that one. That one kind of threw me off. If you guys know why they may have changed it to the Echo Park Speedway, is that right? Is that for just the old Atlanta that maybe they changed it here in iRacing, or is it like what they call Atlanta Motor Speedway now for the actual racetrack? That was an odd one to me. I'm not too sure on why iRacing called it that. Is Kevin Winker, what's good, K-Dub? K-Dub in the chat, coming in with that heart reaction. How are you, Winker? Winker showing the love here this evening. Sean Arita already coming in with that hashtag Winker Nation, cheering on K-Dub here this evening. As drivers get rolling out there on the racetrack, we will get ready to set them loose as we will go to green flag racing the next time by the start-finish line here this evening, and being led down to the green flag, it will be this Razor Toyota. That is the 5 ride of Matt Hayden. Hayden will start in the pole position to his outside in the Sparkle and Shine. Anything EC, the number 15, it's Michael Madden. Starting in position, number 3 in the 51 is the Muhlenberger Custom Homes. Number 51 ride, that is Joshua Moore starting there in 3rd. Then we see Brett Summers in the Boston Web Marketing number 7 ride there in position number 4. Starting in the 5th position, the 318 machine, that is Majula Speed Shop, ShopFergie22.com machine, that is Matthew Catania to his outside, the 00 machine, that's the Big Red Customs Remco Electrical Sonic Graphic Designs, number 00 of Nate Cogdell. Then we see the Goldberg 92 of Clinton Woodby, the Asheville Outlaws, number 13 of Mark Beverly, the 01 of Rooster Rodden there in 9th, and Joe Bennett, the Body Armor 05, rounding out our top 10. Keith Prince, Skylar Berry, Nick Gardner, Brett Evans, Caleb Gleinard, Bruce Barnard, Colton Hardy, Rusty Modesty, Kevin Winker bringing up the rear of the field here in this one as 19 drivers going to battle here from Atlanta Motor Speedway as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here in this one. As Richard coming in says, Slingin' Dirt Series rules. Slingin' Dirt Series, baby. You know it, brother. You know it. Always fun to watch the Slingin' Dirt Series as Matt Hayden out in front will lead us down through corner number 3 and out of corner number 4, and he will lead lap number 1 as unfortunately Brett Summers having to go through the infield here. Look out. Oh, baby, things got tough real quick there for the Boston Web Marketing Dialed In Racing number 7. Right, let's take a look back at it as I'm not sure if he got a helping hand here or if I'm not sure, he just gets a little slow here, falls back early on a couple spots, washes up the track. He's trying to hang on to it, maybe gets a little tight right there, gets onto the apron, and then all of a sudden shoots down through the infield, decides to do a little landscaping here in Atlanta. Luckily enough, able to hang on to that truck, not going around, keeping it out of trouble right there. Doesn't look like too much damage, and a great break there, as that could have been our first caution flag of the day in a quick hurry as Matt Hayden out in front. Hayden continuing to lead this race. Hayden out in front here, only a couple car lengths though between himself and Joshua Moore as Moore sits there in position number 2, not letting him run away with it early in this one as drivers doing an absolutely fantastic job early on here in the Remco Electrical 195. As Hayden down across the line will lead lap number 3 here today as he see that Muhlenberger Custom Homes number 51 of Joshua Moore sticking right there to his back bumper. Clinton Woodby now up and into 3rd here, so moving forward rather quickly for that number 92 ride as he's now up 4 positions and up inside our top 3. He's got Matthew Catania right there behind him. Michael Madden there in the 15 ride, unfortunately falling back 3 spots early in this race. Rooster Rodden up a few spots into the 6th position with Nate Cogdell right there. Cogdell loving that paint scheme, brother. I love that purple and yellow look. Always seems to just pop out and look super fantastic on race cars, and we love to see it out there on the speedway. And Cogdell always making these paint schemes look very good. The Sonic Graphic Designs ride rolls there in that 7th position as Joe Bennett, the 05, rolls there in position number 8. And then we see Brett Evans there in 9th, and Mark Beverly rounding out our top 10 here as he's trying to hold off. I'm not sure, is that Sam Laporta on the hood of that car? I'm not sure who that is with the Detroit Lions ride there on the hood of Mr. Skylar Berry's ride. He'll have to let us know here, as I'm not sure, is that Matt Haight? Is it Aiden Hutchinson? Who is that? I'm not sure who that is. I feel like it's Aiden Hutchinson there on the car, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's Jared Goff. JK, laugh out loud. No, it's not. As we keep on battling here, we keep watching these drivers try to work their way through the field. As Skylar Berry does jump up and take that 10th position away from Mark Beverly. Nick Gardner back there in position number 12 with Caleb Kleinert in the Celsius ride all over his back bumper here. Trying to move up another couple spots here for that 196 ride as Keith Prince already sliding back a few spots in that 3 machine. Down 3 spots here early in this race. It's there in 14th. Rusty Modesty, Kevin Winker also moving forward here 3 positions early in this race. And for the Muhlenberger Customs Homes, number 42, looking for another good run, looking for another good race. Last week we had him up here in the broadcast booth. I know he's hoping that he can find his way back up here into the booth either tonight or tomorrow night in the HC Eagles series. So it'll be interesting to see what K-Dub's got in store for us here this evening. So you do see that 17 ride. That's Bruce Bernard in the Exalta 17 truck back in 17th. And then we see Colton Hardy there in 18th, and Brett Summers in that Boston Web marketing ride after going through the infield there on our opening lap. Luckily enough, he was able to hang on to it, and unfortunately did fall all the way to the back of the pack. Now scored back in 19th there on the racetrack is Matt Hayden continue to lead the way here. Joshua Moore, though, sticking right there to his back bumper. Moore not letting him run away with this one, and slowly but surely see that 92 ride of Clinton Woodby trying to track them down, trying to move forward here as we do see Michael Madden again in that 15 machine. Fall a little farther back here. Madden, unfortunately, now back into the 8th position. Definitely not a spot that he wants to be in. Obviously sliding backwards here early on, but this could be all a part of the strategy, as tire wear and tire strategy may play a vital role in tonight's racing action, as we will see our first stage break at the completion of lap number 25, meaning after that one and only stage break that we will have here this evening. Drivers will probably go back to green flag racing with about 100 laps in this race. So you got to really manage your tires. You got to figure out what you can do, what you need to do, and how you need to kind of run that final 100 lap stint, especially if we don't see very many caution flags or any cautions at all during that final run here this evening. Then you're going to have to be on point with your strategy. You got to make sure you hit your marks. You got to make sure you do everything perfectly to try and put yourself up and into victory lane. As these drivers doing a fantastic job out there on the racetrack early on, keeping it clean and green. We'll have to keep an eye on all those drivers that are kind of sitting back here a little bit, that have been kind of falling backwards, like Michael Madden, like Mark Beverly, that haven't really been on the throttle too hard. They've been losing positions, but it could be all by design. As we do see Kevin Wanker blinking a little bit back there deeper in the field. He's going to have to hope that clears up, as we do see Bruce Bernard and Brett Summers back there in position number 16 or 17th and 18th here, as Rusty Modesty now falls all the way back to the back of the pack here in this one. And K-Dub, Kevin Wanker, I'm not sure if K-Dub may have lost connection. The car's been off the racetrack here for a good couple laps. I'm not sure if he has just disappeared or if he has lost connection due to packet loss. Let me see here. Oh, yep, there it is. Kevin Winker unfortunately manually disconnected the internet, claiming the 42 ride of Kevin Winker here this evening. So for Winker Nation, unfortunately your driver no longer out there on the racetrack. We'll have to wait and see if he can battle back, if he can get back into this race, at least run some laps, have some good times, and see if he can just try to have a little bit of fun out there on the speedway, even though he may be a few laps down. But for the Winker Nation fans in the stands, definitely a tough break for that 42 ride early on here this evening. As Matt Hayden continues to lead the way here, Joshua Moore is starting to fall back here just ever so slightly. Hayden out in front now by about 1 second as Joshua Moore slides back a little bit farther here, and you start to see that 318 ride. Matthew Catania now making the move around Clinton Woodby. Potentially Catania using those fresh tires, or at least saving those tires here for a little bit later in this run, and now trying to use them to his advantage, trying to slide forward here a little bit more. Has gone around that number 92, now going off after Joshua Moore here for position number 2, and we'll have to wait and see if he's got something in store for our race leader, Matt Hayden, as Woodby still just trying to hang on to that car. Here comes Rusty Modesty. Brett Evans up into 6th. Cogdell hanging on to 7th there, as you do see the 92 ride getting very loose down the back straightaway. Great save right there by Clinton Woodby, as that could have been the end of his night. A quick hurry, a big slide out of corner number 2. He was able to correct it. Unfortunately, the truck came back up the track track, but he had to save it again. And luckily enough, 2 saves there down the back straightaway. He's able to keep on racing, but does lose a ton of speed and momentum. Now you do see Rooster Rodden getting around him. Now we see Brett Evans trying to slide around him. And here comes potentially one of those trucks that were saving tires early in this run. That 15 ride on Michael Madden. We'll have to wait and see if Madden can use these tires to his advantage. He's making some big moves out here, and he's starting to hunt down a lot of these drivers that he let go early on in this race. We'll see if he can navigate his way up to the front here and try to win this stage. As Matt Hayden, though, out in front, he's just hoping to keep all these other drivers back there at bay as Catania does jump up into position number 2. Joshua Moore does slide back to 3rd here. So Moore maybe on it a little too hard, a little too early here this evening, trying to push the subject on the back bumper of that 5 ride. Now he may be starting to feel that pain, that heat, as he's starting to see these tires fall off. He's starting to run slower lap times, and drivers around them starting to lay down even better lap times. And for Matt Hayden, he's been running some great laps here. Last few laps, he's actually been a little bit quicker than Matthew Catania, but that time there, he was a little bit slower, about almost a quarter of a second slower than that 318 machine, and Catania has cut that race lead down to just under 1 second. So Catania is coming, but so aren't all these other drivers. They're trying to hunt down this 5 ride as well, and the laps continue to click down. This time by the start-finish line, we will complete lap number 18, meaning that we got about 7 laps left to go here in stage number 1. So stage number 1 about to come to a close. Can Matt Hayden hang on to it and pick up the win here in this stage, or do we see a driver like Matthew Catania, Rooster Rod, and maybe Brett Evans jumps up there and steals this stage win away from that 5 ride here today? Michael Madden back there, he's now trying to get around Joshua Moore, as Moore already sliding back into that 5th position, may fall back into 6th here if that 15 ride can complete the pass and move around the 51. We'll have to wait and see, as Madden down low, able to get a good run, a good center right there, and a good drive off, and looks like he will complete that pass and seal position number 5 away from Joshua Moore. So Moore now back into 6th here. Obviously those tires falling off, and now we do see some more issues. Brett Summers going off the track here again. Oh, brother, second time we've seen this from the 7 ride. Just very, very loose out of corner number 4 here. And this truck's just going to go right back down, virtually the same exact area there. Just doing a little landscaping here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Decided he had wanted to make a double pass down there. Obviously did not cut the grass good enough, so he's going to have to do it again, and hopefully that's the final time for Brett. I'm sure he's not going to want to do it again here this evening as well, as Matt Hayden continues to lead this race, managing just under a second lead between himself and Matthew Catania. Catania kind of stalled out there now in that 2nd spot on the racetrack. Rooster Rodden back there in 3rd, Brett Evans in 4th. Madden trying to work his way back up there as he's back inside the top 5, but definitely seems like he's struggling trying to make some of these passes. Took him a little while to figure out a way to get around Joshua Moore, and the tire strategy, man, it can play out good. It can be very, very good, but that track position is always so key. If you don't burn yourself up as badly as like what we saw with Joshua Moore, where he has now fallen back a handful of spots out there on the racetrack. You look at Matt Hayden, who was hard on it, opened up a sizable lead there early in this run. Obviously had that 51 with him, but really doesn't seem like he was burning up his equipment as bad as what Joshua Moore was. And now for Matt Hayden, he can just run away with this stage. He knows that lap 25 we will get that competition caution. Stage number 1 will come to a close. These drivers will get fuel, they will get tires, or at least they'll make some difficult strategy calls here early in this race. But I'm sure we're going to see everyone head down pit side, get some work done to their rides, get some tires, get some fuel, and get ready for what could be our final 100 lap run of this race. Is Hayden, Catania, Rooster Rodden, our top 3, Brett Evans there in 4th, and Michael Madden riding out our top 5. And right now for Madden, he is the last driver in position to earn some stage points here this evening. Stage points only go to our top 5 here in the Metalheads Truck Series. So here tonight, top 5 will earn some extra stage points, some bonus points here on their season. And for some of these drivers that may be trying to run their way into the playoffs by points and not wins, this may be the big break that they've been looking for. As you do see Mark Beverly Beverly now trying to get around that 51 right as well. And here comes Nate Cogdell right there as Clinton Woodby does slide all the way back now into 9th. Here comes Nick Gardner now finally inside the top 10. Gardner looking to try to catch up to this 92 ride and make some moves. You do see the 51 ride. Joshua Moore looks like he got very loose out at corner number 4 now. Things are getting stacked up here. All these drivers having to drive down low and around him. And unfortunately for Joshua Moore, now going to slide all the way back into about the 12th position. He may be at risk of sliding even farther back. Definitely struggling in that number 51 ride. But luckily enough for him, that struggle may come to an end. Is down and out of corner number 3 and 4. The 5 ride of Matt Hayden. Hayden will see that green and white checkered flag fly, and he will win stage number 1 here this evening. So stage number 1 going to Matt Hayden here today as he's able to get that first stage win. Matthew Catania comes home in second. Rooster Rodden, Brett Evans, and Michael Madden rounding out our top 5, all earning some stage points here this evening. As we'll get these drivers probably down pit side looking to get some tires, looking to get some fuel, as just there in that 25 lap run right there, tire fall off was virtually just a little over a second for these drivers. They were running roughly around a 31-second lap time. Actually, it was about 2 seconds of tire fall off there during that green flag run, because they were running at the start of this race around that 31-second area. Now all of a sudden, you know, they're back here, and the tire wear and everything else after 25 laps, they were running in that 33-second bracket. So virtually losing 2 seconds over that 25 lap run. Now that's going to make things very, very interesting here for a lot of these drivers. What do you do? How do you play this one out? You got to get French tires here at this point, and then try to play some strategy there a little later in the game, as they start with you know, the set of tires on the truck, but then they also have 3 sets back behind pit wall. So 3 sets of tires. It's not a lot. It's not a lot of give or take out there for what you can do or what you need to do in every 25 laps. If you throw a set on now, you throw a set on at lap 50, you throw a set on lap 75, that's it. That's all you got. So you really got to be mindful on the whole pit strategy and what you're doing. Whether or not you want to try to skip taking fresh tires now, wait a little bit later to put them on in hopes that maybe the strategy works out for you, and maybe you have an extra set back behind pit wall later in this race. And for a lot of these drivers, you do see tires going on these things, man. These guys are getting jacked up. We do see the 15 ride look like Matthew Catania and Michael Madden potentially not taking tires. Hayden did take tires. You know, Rooster Rodden, Mark Beverly, a lot of these other drivers electing to get those fresh set of tires onto their rides, as we'll get ready to pull Matt Hayden, our stage 1 winner, up here into the booth right now. Let's see if we can pull him up here into the broadcast booth. If we can find him, if he's in the Discord. There he is. We do see him. All right, let's get him up here into the booth right now. Hey, Matt, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth to get a copy.
Hey, Aaron, got you.
Matt, man, great run there in the first 25 laps of this race, man. Take us back through it and tell us, how did you get this done? How did you pick up stage win number 1 on the day?
Yeah, I think a little bit of tire saving. It looked like everyone wants to get up towards the wall, but I think the track eats more tires than everybody thinks. So just try to control the pace while we were up front. Kind of protect the lanes that we needed while running the bottom, and then we had a run. Josh had a run on us, so we kind of moved up to keep the spot up top for a little bit. And I think you saw a lot of people with tire fall off. So, yeah, we got kind of a little weird fuel and tire window here. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, guy in front of me's got good pace. He started to run me down a little bit, so we'll see with him out front. We had a bad pit stop here, so just hope for the best.
Absolutely. Tire wear, fuel strategy, it's all going to come into play here as very minimal caution flags over the last few races. How do you kind of play out that strategy over the next 100 laps?
Yeah, we're going to probably have to double some tires here, so, you know, we may slow the pace up here, just get some draft, but I don't know. We're just going to play by ear. I have a feeling we're going to get a caution here in a second.
All right, well, cautions tend to breed cautions. Matt, good luck out there. Have fun, and hopefully we'll see you back up here in the booth later tonight.
Yeah, we'll see.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Matt Hayden, our Stage 1 winner here this evening, as Hayden restarting back there in position number 3, but he quickly jumps up to second as Michael Madden, look out, he called it, Hayden called it right there, that we were going to get another caution flag, and he was not wrong. It did not take long to see that yellow flag come out, as it looked like the 15 ride here of Michael Madden down through the restart zone. It looked like Madden did not take tires there on that pit stop, and all of a sudden, down through the Geico restart zone, he just spins the tires here. No traction, unfortunately, on the throttle. Not a whole lot of gump in that 15 truck. If you watch him, he's on the outside of that front row, and you see him just get squirrely right here. Steps on the throttle. The car just shoots around. Now he's trying to collect it. All these other drivers, they're getting on the throttle. Now they're starting to see, as he's running into problems, the drivers that are a little deeper back there, they don't see what's happening here to the 15 ride. So now they're all trying to scramble, trying to figure out a way to get around him here. And obviously, for him, he's just trying to hang on to it, just trying to keep it in the right direction, hoping not to get ran over by anyone back there behind him, and he's still trying to get it figured out. Now trying to stay off the 196, unfortunately cuts back up the track into that 0-1 ride. Nowhere to go there for Rooster Ronnie, nowhere to go for Nick Gardner as he gets damaged. Same with the 92 ride, the 0-5 machine. You see Keith Prince also getting some contact there in that 3 machine, and all these drivers just really not a whole lot they could do, and all of a sudden they end up with a whole bunch of damage, as you do see Rooster unfortunately goes around there off of that number 15 ride, and as he goes around, he ends up getting down into the 0-5 of Bennett, the 92 of Clinton Woodby, then back up the track and into Nick Gardner there as well. So even more contact and damage for Gardner, but a lot of damage there for the 0-1, a lot of damage for the 15 of Michael Madden. And for a lot of these drivers, now it's really going to be time for strategy out there on the racetrack. And you do see Michael Madden, he is down pit side. He realizes now that you know what? The fresh tires probably aren't a bad idea, and he puts the set on right there. So he throws on a set of fresh tires and hoping that that can give him that little extra grip here and a little bit more gump there on the restart to try to keep himself pointing in the right direction. So we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to try this all over again and see if we can get back to the green flag here and go back to battle this afternoon, as we did see, unfortunately, the 6 rider Rusty Modesty. Rusty's taking his car down and off the racetrack as well. So unfortunately for Rusty and Kevin Winker, both drivers no longer out there on the racetrack. That's a heartbreaker for Rusty, heartbreaker there for Kevin Winker, and we do see Joe Bennett. He's still down pit side. Looks like he's finally able to get rolling back out there on the racetrack, just trying to stay on the lead lap here, but also trying to get that truck repaired. As we start with 19 drivers, we only got 17 left out there, and now we got a few drivers with some pretty extensive damage here trying to get repaired, as Rooster Rodden, Nick Gardner, Michael Madden, Keith Prince, all these drivers trying to get their rides fixed up and perfect here for this next restart, hoping to rebound from that contact as Catania has that race lead. He was able to get a good restart there on the bottom side. Luckily enough for him and Matt Hayden that they did not get collected, and they'll be able to duke it out here from the front row as we'll get ready to go back to green flag here in the Metalheads Truck Series as the Revco Electrical 195 here, putting on some great action here, some craziness. Middle of this race, things are getting a little wild. Cautions breed cautions. Hayden called it. He thought there was going to be a yellow right there, and man, did he ever call it right there, knowing that there was going to be another caution flag coming out, and maybe a little premonition out of that 5 ride. We'll have to wait and see if he can find any more of that good luck, any more of that premonition, and see if he can try to drive that Racer Toyota back to the front of the field here and see if he can try to win this race with Catania, Beverly, Caleb Kleiner, that 00, Nate Cogdell, Brett Summers back up there. We saw Summers go down through the infield a couple times out there on that first run. We'll see if the 7 Ryan can keep himself pointing the right direction and out of trouble here in this race. As here we go, back to green flag racing. This time looks like things a little bit more clean and green down across the start finish line. No one turned around. Everyone able to keep on battling. Is out in front, Matthew Catania trying to hold off that number 5 ride of Matt Hayden, but Hayden with a big run to the outside lane. Looks like he will quickly jump up, make that move, and take that race lead back away from Matthew Catania. So Catania falls back now into position number 3 as Kyle Hayden says Matt Hayden is the GOAT. He flew a B2 bomber to the race. Oh, brother, he flew it right to the track. I could see it. I could see it for certain. That's 100%. He was in actually the flyover in the B2, and then he allowed his co-pilot to take over. He parachuted out, landed straight into his race truck, and right into this race. It was the coolest thing we've ever seen here in NASCAR for Matt Hayden, and he's definitely the GOAT for that, man. Jumping out of that B2 and straight into the race car, man. That was badass. As Hayden out in front here, he is absolutely flying out there on the racetrack like he is a B2 out there on the speedway right now. He is the man to beat, though, the P5, if you want to call it something, as he's at the front of the field showing these drivers how to get it done once again here, as we do see another caution flag fly. So again, cautions breeding cautions, and unfortunately a couple more drivers going to end up with some damage, some more tore up sheet metal out there on the racetrack. Let's take a look and see what happened here, as it looks like Caleb Kleinert potentially running into some problems here in the 196 run. You can already see that problem as he's up into that outside fence after it looks like some contact here between him and Colton Hardy. So Hardy down low trying to race that QH designs the winning bid ride up to the front of the field. Unfortunately, looks like he gets a little bit loose, washes up into that back bumper of the 196 ride, ends up tanking him right there, and unfortunately for Kleiner, nowhere for him to go, backs it up into the outside fence, and then still sliding sideways here. The truck is finally just going to drive up there, a little bit more of that wall as he's trying to keep it out of the way of everyone else here. Unfortunately, slides right back down into the middle of the racetrack, and then gets a piece of that 0-5 right of Joe Bennett. Bennett just nowhere to go right there. Heartbreaker there for Joe Bennett as he was trying to keep himself out of that one, hoping that that number 196 would stay out of his way. He gets a good look at it, sees him coming back down the track, and drives down through the grass and still tries to get down low. It was very minimal contact, if there was any, but man, it was close. I don't know. He may have been able to miss it. Let's take a look here, another angle, and see if he ended up getting contact there. And that one angle definitely looked like it, or at least it was going to be hard to avoid it. And wow, maybe a little net code there off of the right rear for the 0-5 right, but other than that, he was able to cut it down low and through the infield there, just looking like he barely missed some heavy contact there on the racetrack. So a great break there for him. And now we do see a slew of other drivers back down pit road. You see Nick Garner, Skyler Berry there rolling back out. Here comes Rooster Rodden. Here comes Moore, Madden, Brett Evans, Keith Prince, Colton Hardy's down there getting work done. Joe Bennett, Caleb Kleinert, obviously getting some repairs done to his race car. So a lot of these drivers headed back down pit road, and that's just gonna continue on with the lore here this evening on how this race is gonna play out and who's gonna be able to try to put themselves up and into victory lane here today, as the Matt Hayden lore continues, as he continues to build his resume here this evening, as he's hoping to be that driver, the reflection of perfection out there on the racetrack. Won the pole position, won stage number 1 after leading all 25 laps. Only gave up the race lead there for the caution flags during a couple of those yellows. Obviously the stage there after yellow flag pit stops. And then quickly as we went back to green flag racing, he was able to jump back out in front. So other than those virtual caution flag laps, this 5 right has been out in front leading this entire race. And he looks to continue to be that reflection of perfection today. Hoping to try to keep Mark Beverly back there at bay. The 7 of Brett Summers. There we see Matthew Catania, who's back into position number 4. Then Nate Cogdell up inside the top 5 is the Paper Cuts Big Red Customs. And Revco Electrical number 00 ride there inside the top 5. Clinton Woodby to his outside with the 17 rider. Bruce Bernard there in 7th. Nick Gardner to his outside there in 8th. And bringing up row number 5, it's Skyler Berry and that Detroit Lions number 46 ride in 9th. And then the Power Rangers number 01 of Rooster Rodden rounding out our top 10. Joshua Moore, Michael Madden, Brett Evans, Keith Prince, Colton Hardy, Joe Bennett, Caleb Kleinert, Rusty Modesty and Kevin Winker bringing up the rear of the field here. Unfortunately for Rusty and Winker, they are both down and out of this race. Both drivers have taken their cars back down behind pit wall, and I'm not sure if we'll see them back out there on the speedway here today, but we will get ready to go back to battle. We'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. As the pace truck makes that hard left-hand turn back down pit side, Matt Hayden will see that green flag fly down through the Geico restart zone, and he quickly quickly jumps onto that loud pedal and opens up a car length lead here between himself and that number 13. But we do see the caution flag come right back out. Alrighty, so cautions continuing to breed cautions here this evening. This time looks like potentially the 17 rider, Bruce Bernard, spinning those tires. Let's take a look at the Exalted Toyota, and right there, looks like, I'm not sure if he just downshifts right there instead of upshifts in this car. I don't know. Looked like he saw some flames out of the car here. Let's take a look. Flames definitely shoot out of this thing as he's shifting. It's already a little sideways. Maybe it's just him rolling out of the throttle. Let's take a look back and see if we can get another angle, another look here at this 17 truck. I swear we saw flames roll out of this thing, and I'm sure if we'll catch it there from that angle. All right, well, let's take a look on board here and see what happens to that 17 machine. As unfortunate break there. Let's take a look. The RPMs down low will be the telling tale as he's building up that speed, shifts, and just on the shift there, upshifting, unfortunately just spins the tires, and car kicks around, goes around on him, gets up into the outside fence. Pretty solid front end contact there for him. And then unfortunately for a couple drivers back behind him, it was Michael Madden and the 51 of Joshua Moore. They're going to get tied together. Madden's trying to avoid him. Unfortunately comes down the track across the nose there of that 51 ride. And for Madden, goes for a couple loop-de-loops down through the infield. Luckily enough, not too much damage or contact there for either him or the 51 machine out there on the speedway. So they'll continue to keep on battling, and we'll get ready to keep on fighting here ourselves up in the broadcast booth as we'll get ready for another restart here. Another attempt at going back to green flag racing as Eric Hardy coming in, showing the love as well there a few minutes ago with that heart reaction and the share on the stream. How are you, Eric? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day as Eric coming in, showing the big love here on the broadcast. As Kevin Winker says, never have internet issues either, as he says, the one race I show back up for. Laugh out loud, stupid storms. Yeah, that's tough, brother. That's tough. Listen, I don't know about you guys, but this heat wave can go away, okay? This heat wave that we've had over, even yesterday and today, man, has been absolutely bonkers, okay? I work outside most of the time. I'm outside, I'm building decks, I'm working on ladders, I'm doing all that stuff, man. It is too dang hot out there, okay? I'm tired, Grandpa, okay? It's tiresome out there in this heat wave, okay? It is bad. I mean, I do have a sweater on right now. It's a very thin sweater. I do have an AC unit right here pumping out the cold air. The PC's pumping out the warm air, so it's a constant struggle there. But man, it has been it's been way too hot, man. We need some storms up here in Canada, that's for certain. We need some big storms, some big thunderstorms, knock this heat wave out, and let's get back down to some cool, nice, comfortable weather here. It's too dang hot, okay? It's definitely the heat wave that we definitely saw. What was it? Zero, and what was Shia LaBeouf's character's name there in Holes? It was definitely the heat that they were out there dinging holes in. That's for certain here today, man. That is for certain. Is Matt Hayden and Mark Beverly 1 and 2 out there on the racetrack, going to get ready for another restart here at Atlanta Motor Speedway as Hot Atlanta here this evening for the Metalheads Truck Series in the Revco Electrical 195 as we storm down the back straightaway here, getting ready for that IR Racing pace truck to make that hard left-hand turn and move down pit side here in this one as Eric Hardy says, yes, sir, rooting on that 97 machine, cheered on the 97 machine as always. As you got to correct me again, Eric. Are brothers, or is that your son? I know Colton and you are related, obviously, pair of Hardys out there, and I'm trying to remember what the relationship was. I can't remember if it was cousins, brothers, something like that. As here we go, back to green flag racing as Hayden gets another good restart. Unfortunately for the 7 ride back behind him, did not get a great launch, and now the Boston Web marketing machine trying to hang on to position number 3, but Clinton would be right there on his back bumper. He's my boy. Okay, yeah, I thought so. Okay, so you are his dad, so cheering on his young lad out there on the racetrack. Always good to see the dads in the chat cheering on their sons, battling, racing here in iRacing. Still having a good time enjoying the racing action here this evening. We appreciate you tuning in and showing the love here in this one. It's Hayden out in front, though. We'll click off another lap, and we're already down 44 laps in this race. Still a lot of racing left to go here this evening as Mark Beverly rolls there in position number 2. Brett Summers there in 3rd. Clinton Woodby, Nick Gardner, Rooster Rodden rounding out our top 6. And we see Matthew Catania, Skylar Berry, Colton Hardy there in 9th. As this big gangle of cars right here. Nate Cogdell there in position number 10. But man, look at this action out there on the racetrack, man. It doesn't get much better than this, as now we see 3 wide down across the line. 3 wide is Michael Madden making the move down to the inside here. Madden trying to get his sparkle and shine anything EC ride back up towards the front of the field here after going around after spinning those tires, restarting in position number 2 on our first restart of the day. Unfortunately for Michael Madden, has had a couple issues since then, but now trying to rebound, trying to race his way back up through the field, trying to put himself back into contention for this race win here today. But for Matt Hayden, Mark Beverly, all these other drivers, this was a good break for them. All those caution laps, they were able to save some fuel, save some tire, trying to set themselves up here for a little bit longer of a run, potentially maybe making a little bit less of a weird fuel strategy, a little bit less of a weird tire strategy there with those slew of caution flags, virtually eliminating 15-20 laps of green flag racing right there. Really opens up the door for potentially trying to make this on 2 more stops out there on the racetrack, maybe 3, but at least with all 3 of them, maybe you can use 2 sets of tires out there. You get to lap 70, maybe throw a set on. You get to lap 100, throw your final set on, and hope that you can make it the rest of the way there is probably what a lot of these drivers are hoping to try and do here in this hopefully long green flag run here on the day. Is Hayden out in front quickly, has that 1.2 second gap between himself and Brent Summers, as Summers able to jump up and get around Mark Beverly. Beverly slides back to 3rd. Here comes Clinton Woodby as that winning bid. Diecast and card breaks number 92 Ryan rolls there in position number 4. Nick Gardner now up inside the top 5 as Gardner rolls there in that Napa Auto Parts number 27 machine out there on the racetrack. Here comes Colton Hardy. Hardy now up and into 6th here. He's been working his way through that top 10 and trying to work his way now inside the top 5 as he reels in that 27 right, and Nick Gardner out on the racetrack. Rooster Ryan right there with him. Skylar Berry back in 8th. Caleb Kleinert, he's back up into the 9th position there in that Celsius 196. Ryan and Michael Madden back inside the top 10 here as well as the Sparkle and Shine Anything EC number 15 machine jumps up into that 10th position. Joshua Moore there in 11th with Joe Bennett. Nate Cogdell now back in 13th as Brett Evans down to his inside. Keith Prince there in 15th with Bruce Bernard and Matthew Catania. Catania obviously playing that different strategy here. I do believe he's trying to save that extra set. Did not take tires there during that first caution flag. Our stage break did not put tires on. He has not come back down pit road to put tires on here, so he's definitely playing that strategy game here this evening where he's trying to save that extra set for potentially later in this race. And if he can have that extra set of tires and we do see a late race caution flag, he may be able to just steamroll and drive right on past pretty much everybody out there on the racetrack and could pull himself up and into victory lane. So we'll have to wait and see what the strategy looks like here for the rest of the night for that 3:18 ride. Is out in front, Matt Hayden. Hayden continue to lead the way here. Hayden now with just about a second lead between himself and Brett Summers. As we do see the 92 ride, Clinton Woodby jumps around Mark Beverly there. Beverly slides back into position number 4 as here comes Nick Gardner and Colton Hardy, both trying to race their way up and around that number 13 machine. As this time by, let's jump on board here. Let's go for a lap around here with this number 97 of Colton Hardy is down across the line. They head down through the second half of the tri-oval and into corner number 1. Hard on the throttle into the corner, then you just kind of roll on it here. Just ever so slightly through the middle of 1 and 2, then back to to the throttle as soon as you exit corner number 2, but you got to be very, very careful there. That little bit of a tight turn really can mess with the handling of that truck and can spin you out in a quick hurry. It's more of the same here through the entrance to corner number 3. You're hard in, roll that throttle, and then hard back on it down here through that front straightaway on the corner exit of corner number 4. And again, you got to be very, very careful. It can get hot, it can get slick, and the tire wear plays a major factor. So right now, the tires aren't too bad for a lot of these drivers. A lot of caution laps, some fresh, fairly fresh tires, but once we start to get a little bit more tire wear here on the evening, as we start to see more and more laps being laid down during the green flag conditions, these tires are going to get worse and worse and worse, and that drive is going to get tougher, man. Trying to roll on that throttle through the middle of the corner, you're going to see a lot more drivers starting to roll out of it even more, bring those RPMs down more just to try to make the truck turn easier and not have to worry about the throttle as much. And then on corner exit, you got to really feather it. You got to be really, really easy on it, because if you stab it, you hit it a little too hard, unfortunately, you can spin those tires, you can turn yourself around, and you can go down through the infield like we saw Brett Summers already do a couple times today, or run into other issues spinning those tires like we saw out of the 15 of Michael Madden on the restart, or that 17 ride, also having issues there spinning those tires on the couple restarts ago. So you got to be very, very cautious. You got to be very, very good on what you're doing and your strategy out there on the racetrack to not make mistakes and not run into problems out there on the racetrack, as these drivers continue to put on a heck of a show, heck of a battle for us out there on the speedway. Shout to all of our amazing drivers here today as they continue to battle, continue to put on a great show for us, as Matt Hayden out in front. Hayden continue to lead this race with Brett Summers there in second, Clinton Woodby back in third. Then we see Mark Beverly and Nick Gardner, our top 5. Colton Hardy right there in that 6th position. Skylar Berry back there in 7th. Caleb Kleinert, Rooster Rodden, Michael Madden routing out our top 10. Joshua Moore there in 11th with Joe Bennett, Brett Evans, Nate Cogdell, our top 14. Our top 15 is that number 3 machine, the beautiful Tiger Contracting American Sign Language number 3 machine of Keith Prince out there on the speedway. Then we see Bruce Bernard in the Exalta number 17 ride. The Junior Motorsports truck rolls out there in that 16th position. Matthew Catania, we talked about him trying to take that different tire strategy here, trying to save a set. Everyone else has already thrown on their first set of fresh tires here this evening for that 318 machine. He's still rolling that same set that he started with this race, and unfortunately he's given up a lot of track position, and he's just got to be very, very careful here. It could play out into his favor. It could work out perfectly for him here, especially if we get another caution flag. If we got a caution flag right now, it could really work out in his favor. But at the same point in time, this goes clean and green, and we see another 20-30 laps of racing action here. Potentially green flag pit stops will arise. Drivers will start to come down pit side, in him being one of those drivers that was on pit road there on lap 27 and hasn't been back down since lap 27. He's probably about one of 5 or 6 drivers that haven't been on pit road since lap 27, and he'll be one of the first to have to probably be forced to come down pit road and get that extra fuel and tires out there on the racetrack. So he's got to hope that potentially the caution flag flies before then and he can use his strategy to his advantage, but as of right now, it is not working out perfectly for him, and right now it's working out perfectly here for Matt Hayden. And Hayden, I'm sure he knows he wants to try to keep these tires underneath of him, but he knows that number 318 is off the pace. He's only just exiting corner number 2 right now as our race leaders are rolling down across the start finish line. So less than a lap away from potentially, putting that 318 right on Matthew Catania a lap down here, as they're less than half a track away from him, and they're trying to close that gap, trying to hunt him down and see if they can jump up and put him a lap down here this evening. As he's less than half a track away from potentially being a lap down here this evening, and obviously running quite a bit slower lap times. Last time around, Matt Hayden ran a 32.60 for Mr. Catania. He was in the 33-second bracket, so he's running half a second slower than our race leaders here this evening, and if he continues to keep on that pace, unfortunately, they're going to catch up to him in a quick hurry here, and if we start to see those green flag pit stops, no caution flags, he may not be in position for long for the lucky dog, but but they are starting to get very racy back here behind our race leader. Is now Matt Hayden has opened up about a 2-second lead here, but you see Brent Summers trying to hold on to second. Clinton Woodby, Nick Gardner, Mark Beverly all right there trying to bounce, trying to race their way up and around that 7 machine. Skylar Berry there in 6th with Caleb Kleiner right there with them. Rooster Rodden back in 8th with Michael Madden and Colton Hardy rounding out our top 10. Unfortunately for Michael Madden and Colton Hardy, both drivers started to slide back there a little bit. Obviously a little too aggressive with the tire wear early on in the run, and now starting to pay that price. So we'll have to wait and see if they continue to slide farther and farther back. As out in front though, Matt Hayden has just been running a picture perfect race here. He's looking to continue to be that reflection of perfection. We may start to see green flag pit stops here not too far from now. Drivers are probably starting to get into that tire strategy area, but I feel like we're going to see these guys trying to make it a little bit farther here. Probably try to go somewhere around lap number 70, maybe a little bit beyond lap 70 before they start to make their their first green flag pit stops for their second set of pit stops on the day, where they can put their second set of tires on, run probably about a 30 lap run, maybe 35 lap run, come back down pit side, put those final fresh tires on with the closing 25 laps or so left in this race. But maybe you stretch it out a little bit longer. Maybe you try to wait and see if you can get patient and see if you can have that extra set still back there behind pit wall before having to come down for that final pit stop on the day. So we can see a lot of different strategy, a lot of different game plans for drivers, and it's going to be very, very exciting to see and figure out how this one is going to play out and who's going to be where when we have this checkered flag fly and when everything else goes away. As Eric Hardy says, never miss it. He's a good son that loves racing. We love that. We love that, Eric. And he says, we own QH Design. He works hard to make it happen. Man, that's awesome. That is awesome, brother. And hey, respect the hustle, respect the grind. Obviously, QH Design. So obviously, guys designing. I'm pretty sure from what I've heard from Colton, t-shirts, tumblers, all that other stuff. I'm not sure if you guys do, other crazy things, but if you guys have a website or a Facebook page or something, Eric, feel free, man, drop it into the comment section there on Facebook or over on YouTube, and let me know. Just drop it in there. Tell us a little bit about QH Designs, and we'll make sure that the fans in the stands, they know all about it. As we'll keep on battling here, we'll keep on duking it out here in this one as all these drivers continue to keep on racing here this evening. Every single one of them trying to put themselves up and into victory lane here this evening. As Respawn Rogue showing the love over there on Twitch says, yo, what's good, how are you today, Respawn? Showing the love here in this one, dropping the comments there over on Twitch. Hopefully I didn't get to those too late, hopefully they weren't too long ago, as we're always popping back and forth. That's Caitlin Robinson. Caitlin coming in, show the love. Caitlin says Matt Hayden is smoking. He's smoking, is he, Caitlin? Oh gosh, is he smoking as in there's a fire under the hood of that car, or is he just on fire out there on the racetrack, or is he smoking as in like he's got cigarettes? How's he smoking, or is he just that cute? Is he just that cute? Let me know. Is he just a cutie? Is that what you mean here? He's smoking out there. He's smoking. I feel it. Matt Hayden, he's got to be a cutie. As we do see some drivers starting to make those green flag pit stops here. As Respawn says, how are you doing? I am doing very, very good. Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day here on this fine Monday night. As we do see Mark Beverly make his way down pit side here as the Asheville Outlaws 13 machine, the Skull Bandit ride down pit road, getting those fresh tires on, getting that fuel. And now we start to see a slew of other drivers, including our race leaders. Our race leader heads down pit road here. So a little bit shy of lap number 70 here this evening completed. Is our favorite lap here that we see these drivers come down pit road on lap 69. They elect to come down pit side and get these tires put onto their cars, get this fuel strategy. We figured they'd be coming down around lap number 70. Seemed like a very good even number to try to make this pit strategy call. So we'll have to wait and see who's going to stay out a little longer, who's going to try to make this a little bit of a different gamble out there as You do see Brett Summers down pit side. You do see Matthew Catania, Colton Hardy, also down pit road. Here comes Rooster Rodden as well in that Power Ranger 01 machine, also down pit side. So different strategies varying here in this one. We didn't see a lot of other drivers on different strategies coming down pit road there, obviously either getting damaged or trying to get their trucks repaired during a couple of those caution flags in between our stage break and the start of this long green flag run. So as we look through the field here, you look at Nick Gardner. He was last down pit road on lap 37. That's 10 laps after we saw a lot of those other drivers that have already pitted come down pit side. So he could stay out virtually 10 laps longer here. Same with, Clinton Woodby came down lap 31. Sadler Berry lap 37. Michael Madden was down pit road on lap 41. Same with Caleb Kleinert. Keith Prince was down pit road on lap 42. So these drivers can go a long time here without having to come back down pit road here, and unfortunately that could really trap a lot of our fast cats here back down the 8 balls. We do see Nate Cogdell come down pit side. Here comes that Goldberg winning bid 92 ride. The beautiful full throttle paint company machine heads down pit side here himself as Matt Hayden, who was our race leader, he's still up here. He's battling hard. He's racing with all these guys trying to work around them here, and Hayden right now, he is leading all the drivers with the fresh tires out there on the racetrack. But for this number 5 ride, as he sits out there on the racetrack right now, he currently is a lap down. He needs to get around this 27 right of Nick Gardner. If he can get around Gardner, it can at least put him back onto the lead lap in a decent position. But as long as Gardner keeps on rolling out there, Skylar Berry, Michael Madden, some of these other drivers that are on the lead lap still, if they stay on the racetrack and we see that caution flag fly, could trap a lot of good drivers a lap down if they're on the racetrack. But it could also really affect how their race is going to play out, as obviously they're going to be now back in the field. They're not going to have that track position they had beforehand or with the strategy, as they'll be back behind all these drivers that are still on the lead lap. Plus, they will also have older tires, less fuel, and they'll be in a very, very tough position. As right now, Nick Garner, Skylar Berry, all these drivers, they're giving up a lot of time. They're running a lot slower than what these drivers with the fresh tires are running. Now, they're going to lose a lot on the front half of the run, but on the back half of the run, it is really going to help them out. They're going to be a lot faster than these other drivers once they elect to come down pit side. And for Nick Gardner, he's still rolling out there. He's still feeling good out here on the speedway, rolling that outside lane. He will not come down pit side as of yet, and down across the line, he'll click off lap number 75 as we inch closer and closer to this checkered flag here today, man. These guys are putting on a heck of a show for us here in this one. And there we go. We do see Eric commenting the link there to the QH Design page there over on Facebook. Is looks like custom t-shirts, cozies, license plate, decals, banners, embroidery, and all your printing needs. Guys, get over there on the Facebook, check out QH Designs, and show them some love here. As Eric says, Peacemaker Gaming, he's done items for CR7 and Grant Infinger's truck team. Let's go. That's awesome, man. That is awesome. That is definitely pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. Whenever you can work and be that close to, some of these NASCAR guys, man, is always absolutely amazing to see. As you see Nick Garner down pit road here as well. Nick, he's got his connections there in NASCAR as well. So good to see Nick out there having some time from the busy NASCAR schedule and jump back up here and battle on this Monday night with the Metalheads Truck Series in the Revco Electrical 195, as we do see Skylar Berry, Joshua Moore also down pit side, Joe Bennett making that pit stop as well as Michael Madden. He's electing to stay out here a little bit longer, so Madden not yet coming down pit road. Same with Caleb Kleinert. Same with the 3 machine of Keith Prince and the 17 of Bruce Bernard. They're all staying out here a little bit longer, so they're going to be running out this fuel run as far as they can here, hoping that maybe they can catch a caution flag and really end up with a huge advantage. But they're going to have to try to play the second half of the run, as they can't make it much farther here. As here comes Michael Madden. Madden is going to come down pit side of that Sparkle and Shine Anything EC number 15. Caleb Kleiner right there behind him. Bruce Bernard not too far back. back there as Keith Prince does look like he will stay out for an extra lap here in the 3 machine. Currently right now out in front, but as things cycle back through, the 3 ride will be slowly headed down pit road here, and we'll see Matt Hayden take over this race lead once again as Hayden up and into second. Brett Summers currently scored back in position number 3 here. Now he is quite a ways away from Matt Hayden, so far Hayden able to hit the pit stop perfectly, the strategy fairly good, and right now he is feeling pretty fine out there on the speedway. We'll have to wait and see how it all kind of plays out for him as Hayden rolls out there. Keith Prince, our race leader, is down pit side, and Hayden down across the line will take this race lead back away. So Matt Hayden now out in front once again, and biding the caution laps there during that little bit of a stint after the stage break, and during the green flag cycle here, pit stops. This 5 ride has been that reflection of perfection. Won the first stage, the first 25 laps, the majority of this race, and also won that pole position. So this 5 ride has been the car to beat here all evening long. We'll have to wait and see if he can keep it up and put this 5 machine up and into victory lane here today. As Caitlin says he's pretty cute. He's pretty cute. Okay, I like that. He's pretty cute. Okay, I can see that. He's a cute guy. All right, as Hayden continues to lead the way, he's looking to take his cute self right up and into victory lane here this evening as Brett Summers back there in tow, about 4 seconds back of that 5 ride, and then we see Mark Beverly there in position number 3. Now, they all kind of came down pit road roughly around the same time. Mark Beverly actually came a lap earlier than Matt Hayden and Brett Summers, and he's now falling back here in that 3rd position. A little farther away, you do see Rooster Rod in there in position number 4. Colton Hardy there in that 5th spot. Then we see Joshua Moore in position number 6. Brett Evans, Matthew Catania there in 8th. Skylar Berry up and into 9th. Caleb Kleiner there in 10th. Joe Bennett and Michael Madden back there in 11th and 12th here now for Michael Madden and for Bennett. Some of these other drivers, they have quite a bit fresher tires than the drivers that are around them here, including Matthew Catania, and then our race leader Matt Hayden, Brett Summers, and Mark Beverly. A lot of these drivers have 6 to 10 lap better tires than them, and on the back half of this run are probably going to be running some very, very fast laps that are going to be hunting these guys down, as we are now within 50 laps of racing action left here in this race. We're clicking them off in a quick hurry, man. These guys are laying down a lot of laps, and they are doing a fantastic job out there on the speedways. You do see the fresher tires compared to the a little bit older tires here, as that 3 machine of Keith Prince was down pit road on lap number 79. Has the fresher tires by about 10 laps, 10 lap fresher tires. Then Matt Hayden, and Keith Prince just drove right on around our race leader here and put himself back onto the lead lap. So Hayden probably going to be thinking, what in the world is going on here as the lap traffic passes them, but that is the power of those fresh tires. Even just 10 lap difference out there on the speedway makes a huge factor out there on the racetrack. As Hayden continues to lead the way, he'll probably looking to try to make it to around lap 100, maybe a little bit beyond that. I'm sure a lot of these drivers are going to be hoping to go to around lap 105-ish or so before they make that final green flag pit stop and put their final set of fresh tires onto their trucks. And now for a driver like Matthew Catania, he's trying to keep himself on the lead lap. He's trying to keep himself in this battle here up inside the top 10. Obviously, he's got a little older tires than the trucks behind him. He'll have to try to keep on keeping on and hoping that he can find that speed and the ability to race his way back into contention here. And baby, really trying to hang on to that truck right there. Very loose out of corner number 2. Luckily enough, does catch it, keeps it pointing in the right direction, keeps on rolling, but definitely burned out those tires a little bit more, and definitely bringing some of these other drivers right back to his rear bumper. Now, he does have the extra set of tires there. He did not throw on a set during the first stage break there, and a lot of these other drivers, pretty much everybody else, put that extra set on either during that stage break or during some of those caution flags after that stage. For the 318, fell back deep in the field, went quite a ways back there, but has that fresh set back there behind pit wall. 1 extra set more than everybody else, and if we see a late race caution flag, he may be able to throw that set on, use him to his advantage, and drive up and potentially steal this win away as he rolls there in that 10th position. As Matt Hayden, though, out in front. Hayden continuing to lead the way here is down across the line this next time by. Lap number 87 will be completed here today. So 87 laps down. I do believe we got about 43 laps left to go here in this race. And what we're going to do is we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So what we want you guys to do right now is crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for all these drivers. A beautiful crank it up session here this evening. Right now, Matt Hayden continues to lead the way, but here he comes down pit road as our final green flag pit stops are underway. You see Hayden slide his way down into pit lane. Hopefully no pit road speeding penalties here this late in the race, as a pit road speeding penalty would definitely eliminate you from contention of this race. We did see Mark Beverly already down pit road, making his final green flag pit stop here of the evening as he came down pit side, looking to try to jump out there, roll back up through the field, and hoping to try to race his way into contention here, trying to pick up a solid second place run, as now Joshua Moore consumes that race lead, as Moore out in front has the race lead here in this one, as Rick, it's Jamie coming in with that like on the stream. How are you, Blaze Schumann? How are you, Blaze? Blaze coming in showing the love as well, dropping that thumbs up here on the broadcast. How are you, Blaze? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful evening, as, man, the racing action here tonight, man, it has been absolutely unreal. These guys have been putting on one absolutely amazing show for us all day long. It has been some great racing action. Obviously, we saw a slew of caution flags there after our first stage. As that first stage kind of came out, we saw that first caution flag. We saw a few right there back to back to back, and unfortunately for some drivers, they got some contact, some damage, a couple tore up race cars there throughout that session. But then all of a sudden we kind of came back to green flag racing around lap number 45 after about a 20 lap stint of yellow flags, and all of a sudden we've been clean and green ever since then, and now we see only 26 laps left in this race. It is getting down to the nitty-gritty for these drivers to try to pick up the Revco Electrical 195 here from Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Metalheads Truck Series. It has been absolutely amazing action out here on the speedways. Joshua Moore continues to lead the way. You do see that lap down car, the number 13 machine. That's Mark Beverly. Beverly going to race his way right on around our race leader, Joshua Moore, and that will move Mark Beverly back onto the lead lap. So good break there for him, as we do see a few more of these drivers coming down pit road. There's Rooster Rodden down pit side. He's rolling back out there. Same with the 7 of Brent Summers. Colt Hardy still out there, but Hardy has already made his green flag pit stop. And we're still waiting for a few other drivers. We do see Matthew Catania. He's down pit road. He's making his final pit stop here. Now for Catania, if he can stay on the lead lap, if he can stay kind of right in the thick of things here this evening, he does have that one set of fresh tires still back there behind pit wall. So if everyone else kind of comes down pit road, if we can see a late race caution flag with 5-10 laps left in this race, he could come down pit side even though he doesn't have that track position, but throw those fresh tires on and could race his way right up through the field and potentially have a run for the win here this evening. So we'll have to wait and see if his strategy plays out perfectly for him, as Brent Evans, Michael Madden, they come down pit side. They're getting work done to their cars and those fresh tires on here late in this race, as Joshua Moore continues to lead the way down across the line here. He clicks off another lap. 107 laps completed here this evening, and only 23 more laps left to go here today. Caleb Kleiner technically back there in position number 2 here behind that 51 right of Joshua Moore. Then we see Joe Bennett back there in 3rd. Keith Prince scored in position number 4 on the racetrack, and now up inside the top 5 once again was our race leader before these green flag pit stops kind of got back into the swing of things, and it's Matt Hayden. Hayden rolls there in position number 5 right now, but as more drivers head down pit road, he'll start to leapfrog them, and he will reconsume this race lead, biting a caution flag or some sort of an issue for that 5 machine. But for right now, he should jump back out in front, in the gap between himself and the next closest driver that has made the green flag pit stop. It's Mark Beverly. Beverly back there behind him. Beverly is about 3.5 seconds here behind Matt Hayden. Now he does have a 1 lap worse tires than Hayden as well, so that could play a major factor into the finale of this race, as we did see Caleb Kleinert and Keith Prince head down pit road in their rides. Here comes Joe Bennett down pit side. We're still waiting for Joshua Moore. He's the last driver to try to make that final green flag pit stop here this evening. Now he's given up a lot of time out there on the racetrack, but maybe he's got something up his sleeve. Maybe he's going to try to run it out to the end and hope to see a caution flag here and really try to utilize his fresh tires late in this race, and maybe getting that late race yellow could potentially help him win this one here this evening, as Matt Hayden going to be trying to track him down. 18 seconds between first and second here on the speedway, and if Joshua Moore can maybe somehow stretch up that fuel mileage, make it to the end, or catch a caution flag for right now for Joshua Moore. He sees a couple drivers get around him right there. That's Rooster Rodden and Colton Hardy, but as they move around the 51 ride, there's currently only 6 drivers left on the lead lap right now, but I don't think he can wait much longer. He finally decides to take that Muhlenberger Custom Homes ride down pit side here, and for Joshua Moore, he will make his final pit stop of the day. And that will give the race lead back to Matt Hayden as he storms down through corner number 3 and out of corner 4. Back down the front straightaway here for Matt Hayden, and Hayden will take that race lead back away from Joshua Moore, so Moore will fall back behind this 5 machine, and Matt Hayden now consumes this race lead, has a massive advantage here between himself and so many other drivers out there on the racetrack. Right now the gap is 3.8 seconds between him and this 13 rider, Mark Beverly. Rooster Rodden there in 3rd. Colton Hardy up into position number 4, and he'll be looking for more here late in this race. Brett Summers there in position number 5. Brett Evans there in 6. Caleb Kleiner back in position number 7. Joshua Moore comes out of the pits here trying to stay in position number 8 on the racetrack, with Joe Bennett there in 9th. Keith Prince back in 10th. Now Prince is the first driver 1 lap down out on the racetrack. Michael Madden also finds himself a lap down. Same with Skylar Berry. Clinton Woodby also a lap down. Nick Gardner just getting done his pit stop. He's also a lap down out there on the speedway. Bruce Bernard, Nate Cogdell, Matthew Catania, all laps down here this evening, and unfortunately not the spot that they wanted to be. Obviously the strategy not really working out for a lot of these drivers, and for Matt Hayden, he's feeling fairly confident right now, knowing that there's only 9 drivers left on the lead lap. Now he doesn't have the best tires out of a lot of these drivers, but he's got that track position, and biting a late race caution flag potentially could hold down the fort and keep all these cats back there at bay. As he rolls down through corner number 3, nice and easy, down and out of corner number 4. He will complete lap number 114 here today, and we only got 16 laps of racing action left to go. So 16 laps left here in the Revco Electrical 195 here in the Metalhead Truck Series, live from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Hayden is the man on a mission. He has been that reflection of perfection all evening long, and he's looking to keep it that way. He's got virtually a straightaway lead between himself and Mark Beverly, and he continues to pull farther and farther away from that 13 ride. And now the gap back to our 3rd place driver is even farther. So it's a 4.3 second gap for Matt Hayden between 1st and 2nd. The gap he has back to our 3rd place driver, Rooster Rodden, is about 12.5 seconds here. So unless he can run a second faster than Matt Hayden over the next 15, 16 laps, it is going to be virtually impossible for Rooster Rodden or Colton Hardy, Brett Summers, the rest of our top 5 to try to track down our race leader here, biting a yellow flag late in this race. Caleb Kleiner back there in 6th, Brett Evans there in 7th, and we see Joshua Moore in position number 8. Joe Bennett, the last driver on the lead lap here this evening, as Keith Prince, unfortunately, is a lap down out there on the racetrack. He is he's actually raced his way back onto the lead lap, actually, so he's worked his way back onto the lead lap, just getting around Matt Hayden. Hayden unfortunately sliding back there, and he does see Keith Prince, Michael Madden, and I do believe Skylar Berry about to try to go around him here as well. So Prince and Madden both race their way back onto the lead lap. Now here comes that number 46 of Skylar Berry. Berry will move around our race leader, and he will race his way back onto the lead lap here as well. The 00 Nate Cogdell puts himself to 1 lap down out there on the racetrack, going around that number 5 ride. And for right now, for Matt Hayden, he's really got nothing to worry about, man. Even just letting these guys go by, not wanting to race them hard, saving his tires a little bit more out there instead of trying to race hard and trying to put them back behind him. He can kind of take it easy, save as much tire as possible right now, just be on cruise control. He's still got that 4.5 second gap between himself and Mark Beverly, 11 plus seconds still between himself and Rooster Rollins, so he is sitting pretty out there on the racetrack now. Some of those drivers that did just pass him, obviously, they got a little bit fresher tires. They got, 6, 7, 8 lap better tires than that number 5 ride, so that's what gives them the advantage there to just pull around him there and put themselves back onto the lead lap. But for this number 5 ride, there's no reason to race those guys. There's no way in these closing 11 laps they're going to catch him and hunt him down here over these final 11 laps, biting a caution flag. So if he can save tires, if he can keep them underneath of him here and allow these other drivers to burn their stuff up, trying to hunt him down or trying to race each other out there on the racetrack or just trying to race their way back onto the lead lap, they're burning their equipment up, where even if we get that late race restart, he can use, the tire saving that he's accumulated to hopefully try to hold off all these other fresher tires back behind him there with a late race yellow. So always playing that strategy game, always looking forward, always planning ahead, and for right now, I do believe that's exactly what Matt Hayden's trying to do. He's still got a 5-second gap between himself and Mark Beverly, so there's no reason to push that truck. There's no reason to try to burn up those tires out there on the racetrack as of right now. You can take it easy, you can take it breezy. I think the 13 rider, Mark Beverly, I think he's kind of on that same strategy call right now as well. I think he's playing the same thing where he's just kind of rolling back there. He knows he's not going to catch that 5 ride. He doesn't have enough time to run him down, but what he can do is bank on potentially that caution flag, maybe saving more tires than Hayden and being able to drive around him here on a late race restart. But for Matt Hayden, he's just wanting to keep this clean and green. He does not want to see a caution flag. He wants to see this race come right down to the end here. He does not want to see an issue here late in the race and where it could potentially take this win away from him here after being the reflection of perfection all day long, other than during that first caution flag and during the first stage break. That number 5 ride lost the race lead down on pit road. He didn't lead those few laps under caution flag, and then obviously got back out in front. He didn't lead a few laps there during the pit cycles, but besides that, green flag racing, not during pit cycles. This 5 ride has been out in front of the field here and has continued to just build up this race lead and show his dominance here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And right now, he's the most deserving. He's led the most laps. He is the car to beat all evening long. And for Hayden, he's hoping that no late race caution flags could potentially take this win away from him here this evening. He just wants to keep it out in front, keep it clean and green, hoping that the rest of these drivers can do their job and keep their trucks pointed in the right direction here in the closing laps, as he has still about a 5-second gap between himself and Mark Beverly. Rooster Rodden even farther back there, 11.5 seconds behind our race leader. Joshua Moore now up into position number 4 and looking for more, with Caleb Kleiner there in 5th, Brett Evans in 6th, Colton Hardy back in 7th, with Brett Summers rounding out our top 8. Joe Bennett there in 9th, and then we see Keith Prince, Skylar Berry, and Michael Madden rounding out our top 12 here on the racetrack. Clinton would be the first car 1 lap down. He's in that free pass position in that winning bid Goldberg 92 ride there in 13th. Nick Gardner back in 14th. Bruce Bernard rounding out our top 15, with Nate Cogdell back in the 16th position, and Matthew Catania back in 17th. Played that wicked strategy early on in this run, and unfortunately for the 318 ride, never got a caution flag after making that pit strategy to not come down pit road during that first stage or through some of those caution flags after that. And since lap 45, we've been virtually clean and green. We haven't seen another yellow flag, and he hasn't been able to use the fresh tires to his advantage. And obviously running that different pit strategy, finds himself now 2 laps down here on the racetrack, not even in contention for a wave around or a lucky dog to put himself back into this battle. And even with those fresh set of tires here on the speedway, there's not a whole lot of time left for him to take advantage of those fresh tires. So that's a heartbreaker there for him. The strategy never played out in his favor, but for Matt Hayden, so far it has played out perfectly for this 5 ride. Has almost a 6-second lead now between himself and Mark Beverly. Joshua Moore has worked his way around Rooster Rodden. Rodden slides back into position number 4, and Joshua Moore now joins the top 3 once again as that Muhlenberger Custom Homes number 51 rides sideways there at a corner number 2. 2, and will hang on to it here, and he storms down the back straightaway into corner number 3 in that 3rd position. As Matt Hayden, though, down across the line, will click off lap 127, and we see only 3 more laps left to go here in the Revco Electrical 195 here from Atlanta Motor Speedway, as the 5 machine of Matt Hayden storms down the back straightaway nice and easy into corner number 3, just hitting his marks, not wanting to make a mistake, not wanting to see a late race caution flag, just wants to see this go clean and green, and all he's got to do is virtually make it another lap around. Is down across the line. We see 2 to go. If he can see that white flag fly, the next flag will end this race no matter what, so virtually all he's got to do is make it another half a lap here, just a little over half a lap to get this one virtually into the history books. He can put his car onto cruise control once he sees that white flag. He's got almost 6 seconds between himself and Mark Beverly. No one will catch him here. He is the man to beat all evening long, and down out of corner number 4, no caution flag. We will see that white flag fly, and Matt Hayden can now sit back. He can relax. All he's got to do is hit his marks, not make a mistake, not spin this truck around or run into an issue here. He can roll into the throttle, take it easy, and knowing that he can just set this thing on cruise control and pull himself up and in to the Revco Electrical victory lane here this evening. As down into corner number 3 for the final time here this evening, Matt Hayden will round corner number 4 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and it's Hot Atlanta here for Matt Hayden as he will pick up the win here in the Revco Electrical 195 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for Matt Hayden. As Hayden, the reflection of perfection here this evening, will pick up the win once again here in the Metalheads Truck Series. Give it up here for that 5 ride as he gets the win. Almost 6 seconds the gap between himself and that 13 ride of Mark Beverly. Beverly going to pull up beside him. Congratulate our race winner. Here comes our 3rd place driver, Joshua Moore. Moore going to pull up here. He's going to congratulate Hayden after a absolute dominating run here today. What a job, what a drive and performance there for that 5 machine. Virtually picture perfect race, picture perfect race car, and he can't wait to pull this up onto the front straightaway and celebrate here this evening as some of his friends and teammates showing the love there, showing their support there, congratulating that 5 ride. Here comes Caleb Kleinert. He's going to congratulate the 5 machine and pull off into the infield and then down into pit lane. As here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our race winner, Matt Hayden. Hayden picks up the dub, and he will celebrate by burning down the house here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Give it up here for that 5 machine as he picks up the big dub here this evening, and we'll get ready to pull him and the rest of our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here for their post-race interviews. His post-race interviews coming up next year. We will pull Matt Hayden, we will pull Mark Beverly and Joshua Moore up and into the booth here for their post-race interviews and how they got a feeling about this race. You know, obviously a lot of ups and downs, a few caution flags there after our first stage break, but really everyone just trying to hunt down this 5 right now. He's drifting there sideways down the front straightaway here, trying to pull his best SVG here, and I'll see him do it the whole track. No, I'm just kidding. That's honestly pretty amazing. He's holding that pretty solidly here. I'm not gonna lie. This is almost more impressive right here. This burnout is more impressive than I think his entire race was. Only for virtually that whole straightaway right there. Man, that was a heck of a burnout right there. The fans in the stands are on their feet. They're cheering on Matt Hayden, and they're loving this celebration out of that Razor Toyota here this evening as the Sonic Graphic Designs 5 ride gets ready to pull it up into victory lane. We'll get ready to pull him and the rest of the top 3 up into the broadcast booth here for their post-race interviews. We'll wait for them to hop into the broadcast waiting room here before we pull them in. Obviously, probably celebrating, maybe taking a quick break here and maybe a bathroom break after that absolutely amazing run, absolutely amazing performance here. And we can't wait to get these guys up here into the booth. We do have Joshua Moore already in there waiting. We'll see if we can get our race winner potentially up there in a couple seconds. See if I can just pull Matt up here. Hey, Matt, it's Aaron up here on the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Hey, I got you, buddy.
Matt, brother, well, you called it here, man. Obviously, some different pitch strategies, and you called that caution flag right after we talked to you, winning that first stage of the day, and you get that yellow flag. You get a few more to follow, then things get cleaned up here, and quickly you're able to work yourself back out in front. You're working those fresh tires to pull out to a solid little bit of a lead, but first, before the first wave of green flag pit stops, and obviously just trying to keep yourself out of trouble, keep yourself pointing in the right direction there, and using once again this fast truck to pull out a little farther away there. Obviously, a lot of pitch strategies, a lot of back and forth for drivers back behind you, but you're the reflection of perfection here all evening long, man. Virtually leading every lap here today, besides those few caution laps after the stage break, and then those few laps during the green flag cycles here. So, man, you are just a man on a mission all day long, and no late race caution flags or anything else to try to steal this one away from you, as you just put these guys to bed and ran away with this race right out of the get-go. Take us back through it. What's kind of going through your mind right now as you get to celebrate here in Atlanta?
Yeah, it's good to finally come out without having, something kind of throw a wrench in the plan. It kind of went to plan. Those cautions we had just put us right inside the fuel window to just kind of stretch some, stops with tires and not have to worry about weird strategy. Just, run fast and, try to protect the lead. So, yeah, man, just kind of worked out. I didn't think we'd have as much pace as we did. And then I think once we got out front, it was clean air. I think clean air had a whole bunch to do with it, though. So I think just keeping ourselves out front and not burning up that right front, I think sealed the deal for us. So it's a good run all in all.
Absolutely a fantastic run, a strategy that works out perfectly here for you today, and obviously out to a very comfortable lead here late in this race. Obviously seeing that lead continue to grow, but take us back through these final laps, knowing that you have over 5 seconds between yourself and our second place driver, Mark Beverly. The next closest is Joshua Moore and Brett Evans, Rooster Ron, and they're 10, 11 seconds back there behind you. What's kind of going through your mind there, just knowing that you don't want to see that caution flag? Where you're trying to run it as hard as possible to get to that white flag, or were you taking it a little bit easy, trying to maybe save those tires a little bit in case that late race yellow flag flew?
Yeah, I think a little of both. I think we kind of had a good race line from the get go to kind of save tires early on. I think this track's real easy to try to carry a bunch of speed and then carry a bunch of heat in the tires. So I think we had a little bit of an idea of what we're going to do in practice to try to save a little more, because I think tracks like this in Kansas where you can run out, completely wound out by the wall, it's enticing, but man, you'll burn a lot of tires, especially with new tire model and everything that came out. So there's quite a bit of management. But yeah, I think man, I don't know. You start kind of getting a little lead, and then like, hey, if I can pad this lead a little bit late in this run, I can kind of lay off a little bit, just in case, because we were right there on the fuel window to take that last set on a full fuel run. And then obviously there were some guys that were able to pit and take laps or take tires about 10 laps later. I mean, I think I saw Josh moving back up. He pit late. I didn't even see him in the top 8 after he came out of pit, and then he comes back to finish third and was gaining time on us. So, if that race was in their 15, 20 laps, if we had a weird caution midway through, then that lead's gone. So I'm glad it worked out, because I've been in so many races you've called where we've just had stupid stuff happen, and I feel like we're the fastest car, and then Friday night blow right front after 28 laps or something stupid. So it's nice to get a win finally.
Absolutely, and it's great to see you up here in victory lane and parking that beautiful Sonic Graphic Designs 5 right up here in the Hotlanta victory lane here in the Revco Electrical 195. Matt, who would you like to thank, man, for such a great run and strong performance here all evening long?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody in the league for putting this on, you for the great broadcast. I want to thank my son, as always, for watching, girlfriend Caitlin out there. Just appreciate everybody coming out and supporting us. This is a lot of fun to be able to get to do this on Monday nights with y'all.
Absolutely, brother, and it's always fun watching you guys duke it out there on the racetrack, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in Victory Lane very, very soon, and celebrating another win out there on the racetrack, maybe again here this week.
Yeah, hopefully so. We'll do what we can when Peacemaker Gaming is got us on TV.
Absolutely, brother. Well, we look forward to seeing you back out there in the next one. And hopefully, as I said, right back up here in Victory Lane. Matt, enjoy this win. And hopefully it's not going to be a long period of time in between these chats up here in the booth.
Hopefully not. Thanks, bro.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Matt Hayden as Hayden comes home with the race win here this evening and pulls that 5 ride up and into the Revco Electrical 195 Victory Lane here this evening, man. What a run and what a drive there for him. And now we'll get ready to pull in our second place finisher here, Mark Beverly. Beverly kind of had a bit of an up and down night. He was kind of sneaky quiet and quick out there, and obviously playing some of the strategy perfectly into his favor. And he comes home in position number 2. Let's pull Mark up here into the booth. Hey, Mark, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, what's going on?
Not much, Mark, man. A sneaky, quiet day for you, man. Obviously, some speed out of that trunk, but obviously playing some of that pitch strategy perfectly here this evening, and you find yourself coming home solidly in position number 2, man. Take us back through this one, and I ended up here coming home in second here tonight.
Yeah, I was just trying to save tires throughout the runs there. Got a little bit behind in the first run, but I think everyone was just pushing forward with that first stage. And then got back up to Matt there, and I was just, every pit cycle we had, I was just trying to undercut him just a couple laps just to try to get a little closer, because after a few laps we were just kind of making the same lap times around and around. So I was just trying to do something a little different in the pits, maybe get me a little closer to him. But overall, it was a good race. I really didn't have much for Matt, couldn't catch him. So, but I'll take P2, and I do like Old Atlanta. It's a fun track with a lot of tire management and sliding around. So very fun place.
Absolutely, a lot of character out there on the racetrack, and you guys are showing a lot of character here today. Obviously, a lot of good green flag racing here again this evening, and it really puts the race into your guys' hands. It's not under caution flags. It's not dictated by a bunch of yellows and different weird strategies where drivers may be having that extra set saved up back there to steal a win away or anything else. It's left on the racetrack here to you guys, and obviously playing the strategy right, having a fast truck, and being right in the right place at the right time, and you're able to come home with a very solid run, keeping a lot of fast drivers back there behind you. I don't know if anyone was going to beat Matt Hayden here unless we saw a late race caution flag today, and that's exactly how it played out. He was the car to beat right out of the get-go, and to be able to come home second and keep all these fast cats back there behind you has got to feel virtually like a win.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, everybody in this league is pretty fast. So to get a P2 is nice. Obviously, I would have loved to have the W. I was kind of hoping Matt would maybe make a mistake, but he was the cream of the crop tonight. So good win for him for sure.
Absolutely, and a great second place run here tonight for you, Mark. Who would you like to thank for another great performance, another great drive out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, thanks to everybody watching. Thanks to you, putting on a great show for us. Thanks to the Nate and all the admins here and all the league sponsors and teammate Keith Prince. So,
Maybe, well, Mark, we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth, maybe one spot better, and up in Victory Lane in the next one.
well, that sounds great.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
All right, you too, man. See you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Mark Beverly. Beverly comes home there in P2 here this evening. Solid run, solid performance there for that Asheville Outlaw Skull Bandit number 13 ride here today. As we'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher here late in the race, making a late race charge there with the fresh tires is that 51 machine of Joshua Moore. Moore storming up through the field there, able to jump around Rooster Run and a few of these other drivers and pull himself up and into the broadcast booth. Let's pull that number 51 here into the booth right now. Hey Josh, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Yep, I do.
Josh, man. Solid run, solid effort here all evening long, and obviously late in this race, using those tires to your advantage and storming back up through the field, and you're able to find yourself up here on the podium at least. Obviously, hoping to see that late race caution flag. Know that maybe you got a little bit better tires there than Matt Hayden and Mark Beverly, and if you got that caution, you could have used them to your advantage to maybe steal this win away today, but you kind of settle in for a solid third place run nonetheless.
Yeah, that was the whole goal there. After that first turn, I knew I didn't have it for Mark, or not Mark, for Matt. Mark too. He was really fast all day. But yeah, that first run, I absolutely burnt the right rear off the car. I was super fast for about 10 laps, and then I realized, oh shoot, I can't turn the car anymore, or could turn it too much really, and I was basically spinning out. And I think I fell back to like 15th or something on that first stage. And then that second run, I ended up just saving the tires as much as I could, just to see how it was, and I ended up falling back like 20 seconds or so for those pit stops. And then finally figured out how to run the bottom and ended up flying through everywhere, which was a lot of fun actually, since I did pit late for that caution, which we never got. It was a lot of fun just ripping through the field, going as fast as I could. And I actually kept the tires on me. I felt really good. I think my tires were around like 80% on that last run, that 20 lap stint I got there. But yeah, overall, caution free. Would have liked to win, but felt really good. And the Spielberg Custom Homes Toyota Tundra was really fast, and it was really fun today.
Absolutely. Well, that's the key thing. Having fun, enjoying your time out there on the racetrack. Even though you didn't pick up the win, still a good, solid points day for you, and another trip up here into the broadcast booth. Josh, man, congrats on the third place finish here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Revco Electrical 195 here in the Metalhead Truck Series. Brother, who would you like to thank for a great run and great performance here all night long?
Well, first, before I thank anybody, I gotta apologize to Skyler. During those first green flag pit stops, I absolutely ran into the back of him. I didn't even think I ran into him that hard, but I broke the rear of his car, and he ended up struggling for the rest of the day, and I think finishing outside the top 10. So I feel really bad for that, but I gotta thank Bruce Muehlberger with Muehlberger Custom Homes. A little frustrating that we still haven't gotten a win yet, but hopefully that'll come next week at Chicagoland. That's one of my favorite tracks. I got to thank my Plus EV boys. It was just Joe and me tonight. Joe was by himself last week. I was at work. But yeah, then I got to thank my parents for watching this stuff, and Nate and all of them for putting on the league. And then lastly, I got to thank you for broadcasting this thing, man.
Absolutely, brother. No better place to be on a Monday night than up here in the booth and watching you guys duke it out there on the racetrack. Josh, congrats on the third place run, and hopefully we'll see you back out there on the racetrack either tomorrow night or next Monday, and right back up here in the booth, maybe a couple spots better, and back up into victory lane yourself.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too, man.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Joshua Moore, as Moore comes home in position number 3 here this evening in the Revco Electrical 195. A huge shout there to Revco and all of our other amazing sponsors here with the Metalhead Truck Series. We can't thank them enough for being on board and being a part of this series, and man, it's been a lot of fun. Some great racing action. These guys putting on a show every single Monday night, man. It's been a ton of fun, and we can't wait to see how the rest of the series plays out. We still got a lot of races left to go, a lot of opportunities for drivers to find their way up and into victory lane, and we love to see each and every one of these drivers find their way into a dub here this year. Now, I don't know if we got that many races left to give everyone a win, but hopefully we can at least get everybody up here for at least one podium here throughout this season. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, unfortunately that will do it for us here in this one. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in and showing the love here all evening long, and we will see you guys back up here in the broadcast booth tomorrow night, as we'll be back in the battle with these NASCAR trucks as the HCK Beagles Truck Series. Their playoffs continue tomorrow night, so make sure you guys tune into that one. A lot of these same drivers will be in attendance, battling and duking it out there in the HCK Beagles, so we can't wait to see you guys there, watching those guys, cheering them on, and seeing some more amazing truck racing here on Peacemaker Gaming tomorrow evening. But thank you all for watching, thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace and love, baby. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen.
burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beasts make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rivals on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the gay flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah! Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beasts make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rivals on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites